must be bipartisan. It must have the support of both parties that were sent here to represent the American people, not just one faction of one party. There are multiple ways to resolve this problem. Congress must find common ground on a plan that can get support from both parties in the House and in the Senate. And it's got to be a plan that I can sign by Tuesday. The parties are not that far apart here. We're in rough agreement on how much spending we need to cut to reduce our deficit. And we agree on a process to tackle tax reform and entitlement reform. There are plenty of ways out of this mess.
But the two-party system is really a one-party system. You could call it the Napolitano Party or the Republican Party. Take your pick. Or both parties have supported the war, even though the Democrats said, you vote Democrat and we'll get you out of Iraq. Right.
Basically have one political party called the big government party with a Republican wing and a Democratic wing.
Absolutely. And you know, I've often compared it to pro wrestling.
Let's hear this one.
Well, on television, they hate each other. They portray to all of us that they're after each other, they're bad, this and that. But when the TV cameras are done, well, they go out to dinner together, they make sure everything went well, and they do their deals together.
And they write laws to ensure that they can stay in power.
Exactly.
Both parties support the oil companies. Otherwise, you've had a windfall profit tax. Both parties support the insurance companies. Otherwise, you'd have a not-for-profit healthcare system.
It is appalling for people, progressives, good people, who turn around and expect that there will be some change in government when year after year after year you don't see the changes.
It's about having a real Democratic Party as opposed to a fake version of the Democratic Party.
We don't have democracy in this country. It's so biased. If you're in a third party, I can't get in debates as a third party candidate. When I did it as a third party, I spent over half my money just trying to get on the ballots. So we don't have a good democratic process. What happens if you come to the conclusion, as millions of Americans have, the parties aren't different. They're all the same. The monetary policy stays the same. The welfare system stays the same. The foreign policy stays the same. They get pretty disgusted. So there is but one party. So people who want to participate, they more or less have to get into one of the major parties.
You know, both parties support these multinational corporations. Otherwise, you wouldn't have all these jobs lost. Now, the mythology is, well, vote Democrat and you'll have, your job will be protected. No, because the Democrats brought you NAFTA and China trade. Let's have a real difference between the parties and let's have a real debate.
We have to vote to empower the American people. That is by enacting the national initiative, and that's the reason why I'm running for office. That is the most important thing I will be able to do as president, will be to bully you to vote to empower yourself. Then we'll see some change. Voting for me without the people empowered to make laws will not bring about any change really worth a damn.
The problem had started a long time ago, and I see the problem starting 30 years ago. When I first ran for Congress, this was my concern because of the changes in monetary policy. I thought it would usher in an age of big spending and big debt and big government and have warfare and welfare till we can't stand it anymore, and that's where we are. So I think past Congresses and past Federal Reserve officials, the Congress now and all the presidents, they never did anything. They always believed that they could live beyond their means. And the people are to blame, too, because most members of Congress over the many, many years always get reelected. I mean, there's resentment growing now, and some aren't getting reelected. But most people realize that, if they go and vote for a 20% cut in Social Security checks, they'd be scared to death they're going to lose their job. So there still is a strong demand for spending no matter what you hear from the grassroots, and cutting is difficult. I think we're going to have a much bigger crisis that will bring us down, and then we'll have to decide what kind of a country we want. But unfortunately, there's too much bipartisanship. Bipartisanship in the spending, endorsing welfare and warfare, and bipartisanship now in don't cut anything. So we're in a mess.